And both, I would say, both these players, of course, absolutely spectacular to watch. Neeb, as a resurgence as of recently, has been performing extremely well on many levels. Was so close to beating Creator in their PvP to make it to that semifinals match versus Maru. Neeb made it to the quarterfinals of DreamHack Valencia. And I feel like that was kind of not something that was really noted. Not really noticed altogether that much, but it was quite spectacular to watch. As you're going to see that probe most likely get sniped. Actually, no. Reynor's just going to go across the map with it. So Reynor did open up with the pool first here. It is, you know, it's a pressure build. I don't think there's really going to be anything that... I don't know if this is really going to get a massive amount of damage done. We already see that Neeb has his Zealot on the way. And the nice thing about this map is the second Zealot is even being produced just to be extra safe. The really nice thing about Cosmic Sapphire is this wall that you can make on this map. You can do it with 2 buildings, which is really incredible for the Protoss. Now, of course, it's a bit unfortunate in this case where there's a lot of surface area on this gateway that the Zerglings can fight against. So some probes are going to be brought down just because Neeb knows he needs to keep the gateway alive. His second Zealot is out. Yeah, Adept also being chrono boosted, and the Lings are going to try and get down the gateway. It's getting quite low, honestly. It's not low enough that I think Reynor can really come in, especially with the probes here to body block for the Zealots. As, Reynor, yeah, tries to get the surface area, but just can't. And Neeb handles it very, very well. Really doesn't take that much damage. Of course, you're going to have a later Nexus because of it. But overall for the Protoss, I think you're completely happy with that. Stargate on the way. We are going to be seeing airplay again. Even with the new kind of resurgence of ground Protoss with Blink and Charge Lots. Stargate openings are still completely viable as Neeb. Got to be careful. Why is this Adept just out here in the open? That's an unfortunate misstep there for Neeb. As, I mean, the Zerglings are going to continue to pressure here, but it really does not feel like there's much chance of this finding a ton of damage. That Zealot, of course, being pocketed here in order to stop the Zerglings from getting a full surround on the gateway. Oh, beautiful positioning by Neeb. He's just going to fight the Zerglings straight up, and he should be able to trade off against quite a few of them. I mean, one's going to get inside. Oh, the Zealot survives at 4 health. And Reynor will get the scout. He's going to see the fact that it's a Stargate, but he's not really going to find much value at all. And so the 10lings are going to be traded there for the singular Adept, and the scouting information behind this. Reynor is just getting into his speed, is up to 30 workers. Of course, again, went for the very, very early pool. He's quite delayed in his macros. So all in all, it feels like this is a game that Neeb, I think, is going to be pretty happy with how he handled it. He's actually even going to go for this extremely fast fourth base. A 4-minute, or third base, a 4-minute third is very, very greedy for the Protoss. But again, you know, you can afford to do it if your opponent is also recovering and trying to take their own third base after they've done this aggression. So it's completely fine, I think, for Neeb to go for this, as the Oracle is going to come across the map. The second one is in production. As always, Reynor is very, very good with his queen positioning. As the Evo Chamber is going to come down very early here, actually. No Baneling Nest, no Roach Warren. It's just going to go straight into the Evo Chamber. That, I imagine, will be for Carapace? Or it would be for +1 melee. What? Yeah. I'm imagining this is for a fast Carapace upgrade, because that, of course, does help with the Queens and the Zerglings. No, it's going to be melee attacks. So it will be just for the Zerglings here and the Banelings. A very, very fast +1 melee for Reynor. I mean, potentially indicative of wanting to look for a Queen Ling walk across the map. It could be what it is kind of in the book here for Reynor, as he tries to push in with the Zerglings. Once again, these 2 Zealots, very, very useful for pushing them back. As the Twilight Council and Forge are started up, additional gateways now being placed down, and Neeb is just kind of transitioning out of this game. Actually, 3 Oracles before Neeb did stop, so he's going to have the extra energy available for his spell casting. Of course, with 3 Oracles, you can also just focus down a Queen. Neeb is not going to go for that. Instead, just going to go for these drones, and there's a lot of them available. 1 Oracle will go down, but getting 6, 7 drones? It was a bit messy. It felt like Neeb maybe could have gone a bit more, but it's going to be absolutely happy with how much damage he did end up finding there. It's a very nice job to pick off 2 more drones there by Neeb. And it's going to be Blinken +1. It's going to be your, your standard Protoss transition, the +1 blink attack. It is what everyone has been doing. Gateways being placed down to create a wall here for Neeb at his 3rd base, as Reynor is going up into his 4th. Currently sitting at 56 workers, going to add on 10 more drones to try and push himself into a lead. But again, being so stunted after the early pool, you commit 12 or so links to that and it doesn't work out, you're not really going to have a worker lead against the Protoss right now, who's working off of 3 Nexuses, very early 3 Nexus. Oh, look at this, Neeb. This is, I love this. So, Cosmic Sapphire does have a gold base here in the bottom left-hand corner. The map is set up to be split diagonally from right to left. But Neeb is just going ahead and taking this as his 4th base because he knows that Reynor is not going to really be able to apply any pressure out onto the map. There's no real threat, especially as he gets up this Blink Stalker count. He has walls set up at every single one of his bases. Look at this. This base is completely closed off. This is so cool from Neeb. And that's what's going to allow him to actually take this gold, is because he has these complete walls at his bases. There's really no chance for Zerglings to get in. And I believe Reynor's going to discover that very soon, as his 5th base is going to be canceled. Overlord is also going to go down. That's going to be a supply block towards the Zerg here. This is actually a very, very good start here for Neeb. He's trying to push down. The Queens, of course, does have the Blink and the +1 available. The Zealots are going to start to fall, but more and more Stalkers coming in here to support. And the Sentry is picked up. Neeb going to blink back, and yeah, this is just a very, very good start so far, but Zerglings are going to be able to get on into the main base. They cracked through the wall. Warpins didn't come through quite in time, so we might see a few probes go down. As at the front, Neeb, trying to fight. The blink backs are going to have to be good, and he is saving quite a few Stalkers. As only 3 probes end up falling to the Lings in the main. Neeb continuing to try and fight this at the front right now. Is working with only 5 gateways for his Warpins. But mind you, behind this, he can get his gold base up. And where's the... I really feel like a recall here to the gold would be helpful. Of course, has been just trying to handle these Zerglings, and the fact that he's only lost 4 probes is honestly impressive, as these Oracles have not gone in on that 4th. Are now going to try and dive on in. Some nice shift clicks here onto the drones. Those Oracles are going to survive. The Stalkers continuing to press in. How many? There's 46 Zerglings right now available, so it's very, very risky to jump in. Neeb just blinks back with all of his Stalkers, and another counterattack is being set up right now by Reynor. But there's a lot of units at home already. Neeb is... it feels like Neeb is completely prepared for this. And yeah, Reynor just going to turn right around, realizing they can't go in. But now the Queens are low energy, and Neeb's just going to snipe off 2 of them. There are Banelings here. Neeb has to be careful. Recall should just be used, I think, right away, as he's found himself into a nice choke, but blinking down to the low ground. Neeb's actually going to be able to fight this very, very well, bringing over the rest of the Stalkers. Warpin's coming through. Neeb is just fighting this straight up, and he absolutely can, as the Banelings are coming through, but they're slow. They're off of creep, and they don't do that well against Stalkers, as Neeb just completely wins that fight. And behind all of this, we've had Oracles being annoying. We've had Stasis Wards go down. The Reynor has been handling it, but mind you, so much of Reynor's attention has been split over to that Neeb is just one at the front, and now there's barely any Zerglings left. There's 50 of them, and they're looking for a surround, but there's so many Stalkers that can just continue to go to these choke points, as Neeb is just going to stand here and fight. Eventually, he's going to blink back as soon as he has the cooldown. You see, tanking up the Baneling hits. They got so much damage, but they just don't kill off the Stalkers. So many of them in the red, in the orange, but they can continue to fight here off of creep. Neeb has to be careful. A shield battery, and even an offensive shield battery here, would not be a miss in order to help keep these alive, as once again another flank is being set up by Reynor. This is the only way that he's going to be able to take these fights. But look at Neeb. He's going towards a choke point. He's going to try and make sure the Banelings hit on as little as possible. Still, though, the connections are so good for Reynor, and he's looking to clean it up, but the Queens aren't here, so all of the Lings are going to go down. Overlord's also going to be sniped, and with these Overlords going down, oh, that's a supply block onto Reynor. Does manage to free up a little bit of supply, but I think now Neeb can start to push this. Zerglings coming in as reinforcements. Neeb just continuing to fight, continuing to be so annoying with these stasis wards in the back. Been constantly just going base to base, stasis ward after stasis ward, locking down drones, making sure that Reynor does not have full mining on his bases, and because of that, Neeb is mining a full 1,000 minerals more per minute for the past couple minutes. That is how it has been. As Neeb is now going to look to push this down. He now is +2 with these Stalkers, is working on charge, and +3, so he can start to add a few more units into this mix. And I would love to see Zealots, even without charge Zealots, added in, as the gold-based income is just so insane for Neeb. His 5th is finally coming up. Reynor is going to send a few Banelings here, but I mean, where are the Banelings going to go? Towards the 3rd? There's a full wall off there. It's going to be very hard for them to really find any value as a Stalker. Yeah, it's just going to completely shut that down. The main wall Stalkers there, as now at the front, Reynor going to try and collapse on all these Stalkers. There are just so many. 44 Stalkers for Neeb, as he's going to continue to make this work. Blinkbacks as the Banelings roll on in, and all of his Stalkers are going to get low, but they are not going to go down, as it's 177 supply to 126. And man, Neeb just keeping on the pressure, really playing this map out to perfection. And it looks like this is going to be game over as the supply is going to drop below 100. GG! Neeb takes game 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 2. As my voice is slowly going as I cast this and Hero Marine Maru from IEM Valencia back to back. We'll see if I can survive. Bottom left-hand corner from Kai Z Gaming, it is Reynor. And in the top right, his Blink Stalker control looked pretty darn good. It is Onside Gaming's Neeb. I don't know if they're called Onside Gaming or if they're just called Onside, but you know what? We'll go with it. We're gonna rock with it. That's how it is. Neeb wants gonna go again for that, you know, wall at the top of the ramp. Data C, big map. We've seen a lot of games go very, very long on this map. I mean, I just cast a like a 20+ minute TVT on it. Yeah, this is a big map. It can go late. It probably will go late. Why is that? Well, the layout is very good for it. Your 3rd base is pretty safe. It is a double ramp up into your 3rd. That's so nice. You know, no matter what race you are, you enjoy that. And then even as you go out towards this 4th, you're going to be having, once again, a choke point, a ramp, another smaller choke point into another ramp. It just, the layout of the map really makes it easy for you to get up to 4 bases and then even start to expand towards a 5th and a 6th. And so I think naturally we're going to see games on this map start to just go into the more late game scenarios more and more often, as we are seeing Neeb just be a little bit annoying with the probe. It is crazy to me how this has kind of just become normal in StarCraft, doing this. Like, just do this. At the pro level, of course, it is to slow down the efficiency of the Zerg mining. You can see that actually in the income down here at the bottom where I'm boxing. You see that, you know, Neeb is actually mining a bit more, even though you're sitting at even workers, just because of delaying the drone mining and stopping them from being fully efficient. You do get yourself a while where you're mining a bit more, and so that it's actually pretty helpful for the Protoss, especially when you're playing at such a level that even those little differences can make, or can matter so much as the game continues to go on. It's going to be the Stargate once again here from Neeb. Reynor scouts it out with the Overlord and then just going to retreat back to his base. And so far, a pretty standard start. And I think what's really crazy is that both these players, of course, had great results in IEM, or not IEM, gosh, in DreamHack Valencia. I think they actually both ended up getting eliminated in the round of 8. We saw Reynor get taken down by Maru, Neeb get taken down by Creator. And so both players did make it into a top 8. Both these players, if you're going by the most recent standings, you know, are kind of playing at a similar caliber, I think. Of course, when you take into account a lot more, you know, Reynor's past, you know, world championships, and all that. Obviously, I think Reynor is the more accomplished player, and Neeb, even during his time when he was utterly dominant, made it to top 4 in GSL in his first time playing there. I don't think even with that, has achieved as much as Reynor has during his career, as we are going to see the Adepts shade on in. They managed to get a singular drone and then are just going to try and back on up, sniping off a lot of these Zerglings very, very well, as that Adept is getting quite low, and, well, one is going to go down, the other goes into the main. Doesn't manage to trade off for any more Lings, and not really the most worthwhile trade. You get a Creep Tumor, you get a drone, and 6 Lings. For those 2 Adepts, ideally, I think you want a bit more as Neeb with that initial push. But he's still going to get into an even earlier 3rd Nexus than before. You know, last game it was 4 minutes. This game we're going for 3:45. We're just slowly increasing the pace here, as the Oracle is going to sit at home now that those Adepts are gone and just be a little bit more defensive. And of course, with the last game, mind you, that was a 4-minute Nexus with after the rush, so that's why it was so insanely quick. This is still a very, very quick macro Nexus here for Reynor, though, or for Neeb, as Reynor is working on getting up his economy as well. 41 probes to 39 drones. You can see the Evo Chamber go down, so very much going to be the same build order here for Reynor. It's probably just going to be the +1 melee attacks, as... Ooh. Very nice targeting. Ooh, not able to really get the most value there. 2 drones go down. It's all right, but you take so much damage onto the Oracles there that they're really going to have limited ability to dive in now that that has happened, as we're going to be seeing the same transition here from Neeb. I don't imagine it's going to be exactly the same push. I mean, you could just rinse and repeat because it did so well. I don't think Neeb is going to do that exactly, though. It's always good to mix it up. As I'm loving the Overlord spread here from Reynor. He's just keeping eyes on where everything is. Oracle's able to go back in, and now 1 health. Oh my, that's a very nice stasis ward, though. He's going to get 6 drones and a queen, and so that should slow down the mining of Reynor quite a bit. I don't know if it's going to stop the next inject from coming through, but it will at least just deny quite a bit of mining. And so I gotta say, Neeb has been very, very good with his Oracles. Neeb's Oracle control has been very, very solid so far, and just allowing him to continually find damage and use out of them. Another drone is going to go down. Only lost 5 so far, though, is really not, I think, the number that you're looking for. Is, once again, a bit of mistargeting. A queen is targeted instead. And this is what's really interesting, is Neeb has been one of the only players doing this, but I've been loving how Neeb walls off his bases here on all of these maps. Like, it is a complete gateway wall. There's only this slight opening right here, but other than that, is completely shut off. I believe we... No, Oracle's still alive. We're seeing Neeb actually manage these Oracles in 2 pairs. But as the additional gateway is coming through, he's going to be Blink and +1, so we are kind of getting a repeat here on the build for Neeb. Of course, this is from a situation where Reynor is not as far behind as he was in the last game. So it's going to be a bit harder to necessarily make it work as it was last time. Neeb, once again, going to dive on in, and ooh, the Spore Crawler was actually moved out of position, so immediately 4 drones going down. We've actually got that tally up to 11. That's pretty darn good here for Neeb. Mind you, still has all 3 Oracles available, and is preparing for now a much stronger Stalker push than he had last time. A few more sentries available. He's going to look to go for that 4th base, as Hallucinated Phoenix is going to get some scouting information. 3 Oracles are just going to try and escape away the best they can, and they should be able to get on out without any issue. No hull damage taken, and oh, look at this. Reynor for a massive counterattack. That gateway needs to come down quickly, and Warpins as well. Neeb. Luckily, Reynor is just going to back up. Does not want to risk committing that far in when he doesn't know where Neeb's army is. But now, the Stalkers will be revealed, and that will be a canceled 5th. There is no way for Reynor to keep his 5th base up right now. As long as Neeb just, walks over and attacks it. There we go. But he's going to cancel that 5th base. Is a nice pick off there for the Protoss, but you're looking at a Reynor right now who does have quite a bit of supply. He's going to look for this wraparound. Oh, Blink is not going to come through. Neeb just kind of tanks it up looking for the force fields, but all the sentries get detonated. As the pullbacks are honestly decent, though. Neeb does trade out quite well. Reynor drops from a 20 supply lead now down to just 6. As that trade eventually comes through in full. The force fields from Neeb were honestly very, very good, even if they were a bit sketchy. Because now, once again, we're going to need to see those blink backs. Force field is a little bit late. The split on the Stalkers is slowly coming through as some great pickups once again by Neeb. He's going to try and juggle these Stalkers out. He's doing a good job of it. Most of the Lings are gone. Again, needs to blink back a bit more. Is going to do so. Where's the split? Does not need to. as Neeb once again looking to make this work. Now it's just the Queens, and the Queens are honestly pretty low on energy. There's one high energy Queen here on the bottom side of this engagement. Neeb is finally going to have to blink away as his Stalkers get lower on shields. But behind all of this, Reynor has not taken another base. 2 of the Oracles did go down, but the 4th is coming up for Neeb. +2 already started, a second Forge on the way. But you also have that +2 for Reynor. Centrifugal hooks as well for Baneling speed. And it's going to be Lingbane Hydra, which is a composition that really we haven't seen in a while. At least in other matchups. You still occasionally see it in PvZ, but it's going to be interesting to see how Reynor does end up using it. Of course, the usual is Lingbane Hydra into Lurker. And I would not be surprised if that's going to be the plan here for Reynor. This +1 armor is started up. Charge also on the way, and mind you, last game, it never got to the point where Neeb really needed to use his charge. He did have it researching, he had his +2, but the Stalkers alone were enough to push the game over the edge, as Groove Spines are going to be on the way, Hydras are popping out very, very shortly, and the Templar Archives for Neeb will be a good response. Is going to be, yeah, there we go, in the main base, his +2 finishes up. So we will have Storm eventually here for the Protoss, and immediately into +3. Neeb is just doing so well with these timings right now. 5th base even started up. But I do not believe Neeb has any information right now on the Hydra Den. Does not know that that's going to be the build path here for Reynor, so it doesn't know if it's a Spire, doesn't know really what the idea is. Of course, Spire against Blink Stalker is usually bad. We don't really see players go for that. But still, not knowing that this is going to be Hydras can be a little bit worrying, especially when you're looking at Reynor, who's going to be going for this very, very strong timing attack. Right now, it's 77 workers for the Zerg to the 84 of the Protoss. So there's a massive army that Reynor has right now. It's 113 army supply. You do not have Storm just yet. High Templar have not been warped in. Charge is not done. And this is going to start to look very, very risky for Neeb. Unless he can take the perfect engagement, that's a great start. Good Stasis Ward is going to slow down a lot of these Zerglings. And we're going to need to see these Stalkers blink back to the safety of the cannons and the shield batteries. And they're going to do just that as the Banelings roll on in. So far, the connections are, I mean, pretty good. The supply for Neeb is dropping quite rapidly. And it looks like this 5th base might just be forfeit as the Banelings are going to continue to roll through. Cannon is going to go down. Banes just roll into the middle of all the Stalkers. And yeah, extremely well executed by Reynor. Snipes the 5th. I'm surprised that that was not canceled. Oh my. 19 probes have gone down. And Neeb now suddenly down to 123. Reynor just hitting this insane timing. Has completely crushed everything that Neeb has on the map. And I mean, I would not be surprised if Reynor could just end the game right now. There's High Templar out, and there's a lot of energy with them. That's a good storm, though. That's 2 pretty good storms. If we keep getting storms like that, man, you know, we might see Neeb be able to hold on. He's still on 4 bases as a very nice warp in here for Neeb. Does need to get out of this choke point. Eventually does realize that as the Queen is going to go down. Zerglings rushing on in, but again, these are +2 Zealots. They 2-shot these Zerglings, so the Hydras are really going to be what's cleaning this up. As the Warp Prism does make its way out, there is... never mind, the base is not open. Queens are going to be able to snipe off the Warp Prism. The Zealots are eventually all killed off. It's +3, +2 on the way for Neeb, and if he can get into these upgrades, it'd be absolutely massive. The one thing I am surprised about is that Reynor has not gotten into Lurkers yet. Right now has a pretty big gas bank and is going up to 89 workers. It feels like Lurkers would be very nice, as these 2 storms not the best, but are going to dissuade the Zerg from rolling in. As Reynor is continuing to try and bait it. 5th base once again is going to get canceled. So Reynor here looking for his round, but there are so many High Templar. 11 High Templar out on the map. As the Lurker Den has only just now been started up for Reynor, so Neeb fighting back into a decent position here with his supply. But once these Lurkers are out, this game gets very, very different. As a Mothership is actually on the way. Fleet Beacon has been already constructed. Zealot run by on into the 4th base, where the 5th base is going to find a little bit of value, as once again the 5th is canceled for Neeb. Oh, these storms need to be absolutely on point, and so far they are. The Storm's doing such a good job of getting rid of a lot of the Banelings. Another Storm weakens up a lot of the Banelings. Needs to back up. The Archons are morphed. The Immortals true to their name, just tank up so much damage. And Neeb is going to be able to hold on, but again, he needs to establish this 5th base. He's going to set up cannons, he's going to set up shield batteries, now has Archons added into this army, and the Archons are just so much better at dealing with the Zerglings and the Banelings. Of course, the Storms are necessary, but having the Archons as well is such a massive boon. 6 more High Templars on the way. Seismic Spines started up. Of course, Reynor is not going to morph in those lurkers until he absolutely feels like it's necessary to transition. And once, of course, he has both of his upgrades, as it is a double lurker den as Baneling run by. Look at that. He's going to clean up now 38 probes in total. I think just 18 on that mineral line. As we are going to once again roll on through, and it just feels like there's not enough here for Neeb. The mothership is going to come in, though, and that should dissuade most of everything here. As the Baneling's going to roll towards this base. Uh-oh, Neeb. No, you can't lose more workers. He's going down to 50. Neeb now going to just push this across the map. He has the mothership. He's going to have the time warp available. What is the army looking like for Reynor? Well, it's a whole lot of, I mean, not a lot of Banelings. Only 20 that are being morphed. 74 Zerglings, though. But look how many Storms there are. 10 High Templar. Neeb is just going to look to push down this base. He's going to be able to do so. As the Queens are being brought forward. Feedbacks might be used here, but Storms are just so much more valuable. As the Storms are going to push back a lot of the Zergs until the time warp can go down. Neeb handling this very, very well so far. Should just swing this up to the next base, which is here in the top left. And I think Neeb knows it. Yes, he does. And all the money moves right now coming through for Neeb. He's working with an army that is better upgraded as well. +3, +2. Versus just, I mean, the +2 melee attacks and +1 ranged weapons of Reynor. The army just does not fight as well for the Zerg. And when you have +3 armor and shields as well now coming into the mix, Neeb's army is extremely efficient. So we are going to see those drones all start to go down. Reynor is setting up a counterattack, though, but look at this. Neeb is ready for it. He already has High Templar and Zealots here. Storms are going to go down. Archons morphed another Storm, and some Banelings are going to make their way through. Archons trying their best, and they are tanking up so much damage as the Banelings trying to roll on in, but they're just being denied. Now they're going to roll towards the next base, and mind you, Neeb's worker count is already so low, but a good pullback on the probes is going to mean that he doesn't lose that many more, as the lurkers are now in position here for the defense. Reynor finally morphed them in, but look at the supplies. 174 to 153. Reynor is suddenly falling behind. As Neeb, Neeb finds the lurkers on burrow, but doesn't have the vision. Now it's finally going to pop a revelation, but does not want to push into it. The Stalkers, they take that additional damage. A Storm to keep these Queens away from the mothership. Another Storm on the Queens is going to force out a lot of transfusions from Reynor, who still has this army on, I mean, at the middle of the map, but bases are going down. Reynor is not mining anymore, as Neeb still has a fully mined base, and now Neeb's just going for it. Neeb's jumping on top of the Queens. The Storms come down. And Neeb finding so much value with this army, with the upgrades. The mothership doing so much work. The mothership, I mean, working so well with this ground-based army, where you're not necessarily going to get a ton of instant air, but the Artosis pylon, the 5th base is going down. The probes are going down. 78 probes have fallen in total. Neeb has to be careful. His whole army versus, I mean, army versus army, Neeb's is so much better. It is so much better. The value is almost worth twice as much. He has the Storms, he has Archons, he has Immortals, the Time Warp as well. But Reynor is not letting him take a straight up fight. Reynor is just going for the mineral lines. Reynor is trying to slow down the mining as the lurkers are going to come through, and they're going to protect this base. Neeb desperately needs an observer right now. And good snipe on a lurker. There's so many lurkers, though. 12 of them is absolutely insane. That is all that Reynor has right now to hold on are these 12 lurkers. Still looking for run-bys with these lanes. Neeb has an entire second army, though, that's ready for it, that is in position in case these run-bys come through. And yeah, he's going to be able to get rid of all the lings. 3 make their way into the natural, and they're going to maybe pick off a few workers, but not really any that are needed. Bailey's going to roll back towards this base. I think Neeb saw it. He's going to pull back the Archons, though, and that should be enough to hopefully stop them. Yeah. Neeb is fine. As the Lurkers, once again, going to reposition. A good Storm is going to weaken them up. As Neeb is continuing to just position around 122 army supply now. Neeb's army is just massive. He's not building workers. He's working on carriers now. And +1 air weapons. And for Reynor, it is 16 Lurkers, and that is it. It is 16 Lurkers. So there's another Storm going to go down to weaken up the Lurkers. One of them is finally going to pop from this damage of the Psionic Storm. Reynor has 4 Lurkers that he's trying to use for these run-bys, but Neeb is just sticking onto these 4 bases. He knows that there's no reason to take another base. He's denied all of the mining for the Zerg. Reynor, though, has re-established this base in the top right. That's absolutely massive for him. Stalker, the Zelnaga Tower, is going to get cleaned up. Finally, is there an Observer? Finally, an Observer has been added on for Neeb. Okay. Now we can start to clean up the creep. Now we can really start to push back the vision of Reynor, and that was what was allowing Reynor to be so reactive here with the Lurkers, was the fact that he had, you know, creep spread all over the map that was allowing him to keep vision. Look at this, though. Reynor actually setting up a bit of a surround here. So we're working with 19 Lurkers. 19 Lurkers is ridiculous! It's ridiculous. There's like 50 supply of Lurkers right now on the map. As here we go, a carrier is here, and the carrier might be all that we need. Is Neeb coming in for this round? Yes, he is. His whole other armies are Neeb. You need to go in with everything. Neeb, what are you doing? The Observer finally is going to get vision. Neeb is going to dive on in. This chunk of Lurkers looks like it's going to go down. A Storm goes down on one set. Reinforcements coming through. 2 more Storms go down, but the carrier is out of interceptors. Need to reload, as they do. And as the vision comes in, they're going to be able to start to snipe away at these Lurkers and the carriers. A massive decision here for Neeb. He spent all of his money on them, and they are going to be able to clean up the Lurkers. Even with no upgrades, they're just going to do so well. There's no anti-air, and Neeb is going to blink forward. He's going to lose so much. But these are the last remnants of the Reynor, maybe? It's so close. Needs to snipe off 2 more Lurkers. These armies are so small, but I just don't know if anything can fight the carriers. I mean, I don't think Reynor's upgrades are good enough to fight the carriers, Neeb. His army quality is just better right now, as he has full interceptors, a massive Storm going to go down. It's going to get so much value, and you still have this mothership, which has had 22 kills. This is the first time I have seen a mothership that is not a -400. This is a value mothership from Neeb. And it is going to win him the game, potentially, as all of these units are cloaked, and it's going to continue to provide support from the air. That Time Warp's still available. Storm is a bit premature. A yoink back on the carrier is going to be able to, snipe it, but it's so slow. As Neeb is now pushing into the base, the Viper is going to abduct the mothership, but Time Warp goes down. The attack speed is lowered. The mothership doesn't go down. GG! Man. No. I'm still recovering from that last game. That was, woo! That was something. Ladies and gentlemen, I think much to the surprise of many of us, down 0-2 in the top right-hand corner is KaiZ Gaming's Reynor. And in the bottom left, looking to close it out. He's up 2-0. He's on match point. It is on sides Neeb. And I'm just enjoying the fact that I have a cool breeze coming through right now. It is a blistering, absolutely blistering, what is it, 93? Was it 93, I think? It felt like that. Yeah. Almost 90 degrees. It's 87 degrees right now. And that's after it's cooled down. The midday heat, it was getting close to 90 here. Yeah, swelteringly hot. I am glad that I was inside, even though as much as I enjoy the outdoors, as much as the wind is nice, you know, it's too much. I spent like 20 minutes outside, and I was like, okay, that is good enough. Of course, I do these casts on the weekends because I am working full-time outside of them. So, you know, just a little bit of extra time put in. But I still get to enjoy a really nice view from where I'm set up. I got windows. It's nice. I get to enjoy the wildlife. Which is I was when I just cast a game on Tropical Sacrifice for the last series, and I was really noticing. I was like, dang, these bird sounds, I can hear them too. I looked out my window and there were birds in the trees, and I could hear them. I was like, nice. But yeah, there's a nice breeze coming through. It's cooling me down, so I'm not sweating as much. And you know who else is sweating right now? Yeah, that's Reynor. He's down 0-2 right now. Of course, nothing in comparison to, like a DreamHack, quarterfinals against Maru, but still sweating down 0-2 against Neeb here in the finals for this ESL Open Cup. Still a bit of money on the line. Of course, the EPT points as well. It's always one that you kind of want to win, It's kind of nice to win these. And we'll see how it goes. Neeb has been showing some really great play. Really great play. I don't know that there's much to say about it. I think in that last game, I really don't know what Reynor could have done. I really don't know what the options were for him. I'm not that well versed in the Protoss versus Zerg matchup to really look at that and be like, oh well, definitively Reynor could have done this and maybe that would have given a better chance. No, I think him and Neeb played it out well. I think they made really good choices in the moment, and that was what allowed them to and that's what allowed it to go and be as close as it was. It's just that Neeb made, I think, just the better choices. He had the tools that were necessary, and again, that mothership getting so much value towards the end there. But we're on to Tropical Sacrifice, and it is a bit of a bigger map. So it's actually, I think this map is bigger than the last one we were just on. Can't remember. Oh yeah, Data C is a lot bigger than Data C. Right now on this map, you're looking at around 8 bases per half of it. There's a lot of space on it. There's a lot of open space as well, which is very nice for the Zerg. Like, you have these massive ramps and bridges in the center of the map, which can be very nice for surrounds. There's just a lot of open area in general on this map that you can use as Zerg to set up engagements. So I think this map is going to be very, very nice for Reynor to start this comeback if he is going to get the win. But with how Neeb has been playing, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Neeb has played out these last 2 games extremely well, as a Phoenix has been produced. This is the first Phoenix that we've seen all game, as a nice actual run by here by Reynor is going to be able to snipe off both of these Adepts. Going to force this Oracle to come on back. Going to have to turn on its Pulsar Beam if wants to defend. And then, guess what? Reynor just runs away. Very, very nicely done by the Italian Zerg. But the Phoenix does get a kill on the Overlord. And the nice thing about adding in a Phoenix into this composition, of course, you're not going to have the 3 Oracles worth of energy that you usually would, but you can push back Overlords, which is extremely nice for Neeb. It does mean that if you're looking for a timing attack, there's less of a warning on the Zerg side about when it is coming, as opposed to if you're not able to do that. Oh, I love this from Neeb. Just snipes off a Queen with the pickup on the Phoenix. I actually don't remember. That is the one ability I do not remember the name of off the top of my head. Is the High Health Oracle just goes in, grabs 2 drone kills, pulls out, and some very nice micro here by Neeb at the start of this game as he puts down, as his Nexus is going to be finishing at the 3rd base location. +1 started up, and it's going to be charged. Ooh. Oh, I love this mix-up here for Neeb. He's going to be looking for a charge attack here instead of the blink, and I mean, I think actually, almost rather unfortunately, the Roach Warren has actually been built by Reynor this game. Every other game, Reynor has skipped the Roach Warren. He's gone straight into the Baneling Nest, and it's just gone Ling Bane. But this is the one game where he actually goes Roaches, and it's against Zealots, which is, I mean, it's unfortunate for Neeb. Of course, it still depends on if Reynor does build the Roaches, as 2 more drones are going to get zapped down. One of them gets to about half health. The Phoenix dives away. Warp Prism on the way. Certainly just keeping view, and Reynor is doing a very, very good job so far of actually spreading this creep as he's taking his 4th base. But no Roaches have been built. There have been no Roaches so far, as Nexus is going to go down. Neeb will be able to get that up, snipe off a lot of those Zerglings, bring over his army, and how many gateways is Neeb going to go up to is going to be the real question. Right now is sitting at, what, 4 warp gates going up to 6. So it's not a massive all-in, especially with this 3rd base coming up. It really is not a super committed all-in here from Neeb. It's going to be a pretty powerful attack, but I mean, roaches are being built, and I just think, I don't know if it's just a great map read here by Reynor, knowing that, hey, listen, there's a lot of open space. You know, zealots could be quite good. You know, they don't have to deal with choke points, and so, or as many choke points, and so maybe reading the fact that this is actually charge instead of blink, but the roaches also maybe just wanting a different response than he's been going in every game, which has been the Zerglings is accidentally goes into warp in mode in range of that Spore Crawler, so Neeb just has to back on out, doesn't get that much damage. And now Reynor knows that it's charge, and I think Reynor is pretty happy that he built that Roach Warren and has been going into roaches regardless, as a Spire is going to be finishing up now. Did Neeb see that Spire? Did not. That's a pretty big thing to miss. +1 armor going to start up not immediately into that +2 attack, as we have been seeing Neeb opt for most of these games. As Blink is also on the way. 8 Mutalisks, and the fact that this is unscouted just makes it, I think, even worse. You know, you go for this charge, you don't get anything done with it. It doesn't really get you any value, and now you're going to be pretty much dealing with mutas that are going to come across the map and suddenly pounce upon you. Now, these oracles, they might be able to scout it out beforehand if they don't get caught by the queens first, that is. As Neeb is preparing for maybe preparing for a push or just to clean up creep. Where are the Mutalisks? 8 mutas now flying across the map, gonna try and fly outside of vision. Neeb will see it though. He's moving his army and does see the mutas, and that's, I mean, it's nice to see it, but it's very, very late as 4 Stalkers are going to be warped in. That is not enough to deter the 8 Mutalisks that are available here for Reynor. Good pullback on the weak ones, meaning they're not going to go down as more and more warp-ins coming through. Oh, as this probe line is a little bit exposed. 2 probes immediately going down, a 3rd as well. And Reynor is just starting to get absolutely so far ahead in this supply lead. Is looking to knock down this gateway wall. There's no ranged units to help push them back. As yeah, this game, this opening has not gone how Neeb wanted. I mean, he's sitting at a very high worker count, 75 to 85. It's very healthy, but Reynor just has full control over this map. I mean, these are slow roaches, but they can still actually knock down this Nexus. Who cares if they're slow? They don't have glial reconstitution. We don't care. We love them anyway. They're going to knock down that Nexus at the 5th base. As the upgrades are coming through, +2 melee attacks, +1 flyer. A nice catch here by Neeb, though, is going to be able to get a lot of damage onto those mutas and the blink ups as well to be able to chase it. Shield battery has been added in, but still not going to stop 5 Mutalisks from just one-shotting the probes. As Reynor has 2 armies set up on this map and is just... I mean, Reynor right now is in a wonderful position. I think Neeb has done a good job of mitigating as much damage as possible. The real issue is the army kind of value here for Neeb is not there. It is not there. You know, it's charge lots, it's 2 Archons and 2 Immortals, and that's really the only valuable units that he has available. Is finally going to be adding in those High Templar, but he doesn't have Storm. And so missing that upgrade is pretty big. Is this Immortal just going to wander out? It is going to find... He does find the Zerg army, though. Very, very nice there for Neeb, who has finally got up to 185 supply. As Reynor just has full control over this map. And this... What is this? What? No, that's not okay. 22 Zerg, or 22 probes go down. The Nexus is blowing up. Reynor just commits in with absolutely all of the Banelings in the world. And blows it to smithereens. There's a warp in here in the main of Zit charge lots. I think Reynor pulled back most of his army, though. The Warp Prism is going to go down. More Zealots finding another run by, just getting more and more damage as Neeb is behind. I mean, luckily for him, the army supply is very even. It's 100 to 95, you know. It is the exact same army supply, so at least that standing army can fight. But the issue is the bank. You know, Neeb does not have extra money to rebuild. You know, this is Neeb's army as, ooh, the blink sideways is a little bit awkward. Neeb is still taking a decent fight, but look at all these units just choked up on this ramp. Luckily, there's not a lot of Ravagers, or else those Biles could have done a lot more damage. Neeb does a good job in that fight. Doesn't actually lose a lot of army. He's losing a lot of workers, though, as the Banelings once again run by, and another base is just gone. No more probes to be seen. And Neeb is all in. Neeb needs to win with this attack. Storm is not done, though. And without Storm, you know, how is this going to happen? That Storm is so late. I don't know if Neeb has the time to wait for it, or else Reynor's just going to rebuild a maxed out army. Of course, you're both going to be at 100 army supply, but oh, it's just so risky here for Neeb. He needs to find the perfect engagement. He needs to find the perfect fight. Let's see if he can do that, as Reynor's going to look for it. Doesn't want to commit in immediately. Stasis Ward was triggered. Stasis Trap was triggered. Neeb continuing to posture here. Now going to look for the fight. The surround is here, though, for Reynor. The Banelings just absolutely destroy everything. GG. And I liked the idea. I liked the idea in that last game of what Neeb wanted to do with switching it up. Obviously, it just doesn't work out, which is, you know, unfortunate, I think, but maybe we just stick with the same, maybe we just stick with the same builder, or I don't know. It was a nice idea. It did not work out at all, and so we end up seeing Neeb here drop that third game. Reynor just playing out the response really well, and there's not much else to say about it. You know, Reynor played it out well. Hit his transitions. I think the Roach Muta on that map especially was quite good for what Neeb wanted to do. The Muta control was pretty good, and eventually it just got to a point where Reynor had so much money, he just was left alone for so long because Neeb never committed to a straight up attack as he would with the Blink Stalkers. The Mutas bought enough time that Reynor could just throw Banelings at his opponent and rebuild his army, and so yeah, I mean, very well done by Reynor. Again, the Mutas always look so good when your opponent is not going Blink Stalkers, and so it's always a safer opening to just go for that. Even if you're not going to commit to the +1 timing attack, just having the Blink Stalkers does dissuade the Zerg and kind of force them into a similar style of opening. But yeah, it is a very interesting series, though, from between both these players. I mean, whenever it's the storyline of, you know, I think Reynor after Valencia has been coming at this with a fury. He has been coming at qualifiers and everything, and really putting a lot of time into the game. Definitely not happy with how his results were. And it makes sense when you had such a frustrating series against Maru. Especially when you know that Maru came into that series with the game plan to make it as frustrating as possible for Reynor. Yeah, so that is understandable. That is very understandable. But it's been nice to see how Reynor has just kind of come back at it, has immediately gotten back into the swing of things. And yeah, is doing very well. Neeb, still waiting for him to really get that, I think, big result with his new form. I think the quarterfinals is obviously the best result that he's gotten, and I'm very and it's very awesome to see him do so well with it. But we'll see. We shall see. The Neebith shall cometh into from the night, and he shall deliver unto us a new era of Protoss alongside Hero, although it's mostly Hero, as we're switching it up again. Lovely. As Neeb is going to push forward here with the Adept. Sorry for that break. I did have to. Something just came up that I had to respond to, but Neeb is going to be going for the Glaive Adepts. And this is not a super cheesy Glaive Adepts. This is very much a macro Glaive Adepts because Neeb is taking his third Nexus at this pocket expansion. I always feel weird about those half mineral pocket expansions because obviously they're very nice, but they're really, you know, you're not going to be getting a full base of mining off of them. They are just a safer option. As the Adepts are here, Reynor should know what this is. Roaches are in the production tab. As once they pause there for Neeb, he's going to shade in. There are enough Lings to to really stop this unless Glaives does finish up right now. And, well, Neeb's going to go for it. Doesn't have Resonating Glaives just yet, but now is going to have that additional attack speed on his attempts. You can just see the difference that it makes as he absolutely shreds through the Lings, immediately gets a few of the drones as well, and now going into the main, he's going to try and skirt around where the roaches are. Adepts, the third did not get into the mineral line in time. As, I mean, Neeb has not found the damage that is necessary so far with this. Needs to try and focus down some workers, but some great body blocking with the queens. Only 5 drones going down, and this has just not been worth it at all for the onside Protoss. That went atrociously bad. That was yeah. No, that was supposed to get so much more damage done. Even when you're getting a third Nexus behind it, that is supposed to just get more damage done. No question about it. Yikes. +1 ground attacks, +1 armor coming through here for Neeb. He's going to be going into a Blink Stalker timing attack. And honestly, the 4th Nexus even going down. Neeb is just going full greed mode right now. He says, listen, I know the attack didn't work, but hear me out. He doesn't expect me to be super greedy because now because Reynor has all the time in the world. So he's also going to be greedy. And honestly, Neeb is mostly correct in that assumption. Reynor is getting his 4th base, just adding on straight drones now that he has defended the attack. So Neeb can do the same. And Neeb will be looking for now kind of a different follow-up with the Blink Stalkers and the +1/+1. So it will be a little bit stronger than the usual attack as, ooh, that, I would have finished that shade, but I am not as good of a player as Neeb, so I will not question it. As Reynor is just going to pocket through roaches into that mineral line to make sure that that's not going to happen. Observer's on the way. And +1 range starting up. Reynor, I think, yeah, the roach play working out so far for him. Has this lead in game number 4. And if he wins this, of course, sends us to that map 5. Sends us to the ace map. Ooh, how exciting. How mysterious. What's going to happen at the ace map? Ooh. What kind of play will we see? Will we get a 30-minute slugfest? Or will it just be a 3-minute cheese? Who knows? The upgrades are finishing up. Charge immediately started behind it. 4 more gateways are going to be added on. So it's going to be 10 gates here for Neeb as he looks for this push out. And it is into roaches. And, you know, the +1/+1 stalkers into the roaches is a very, very good matchup, especially if you get, a few more stalkers than we currently have available. I think, yeah, Neeb would like to have more with this push. He starts up the +2 armor as a priority. And here we go. Initial volley is not going to get that much damage onto either one of the opponent's armies. As the force field is very good, the corrosive bile actually doesn't find too much damage, and Neeb, with this trade, starting to find some value. The issue is, you really need to find a lot of value with these trades in order to make it worth it, and he's starting to do it. The Roach Ravager, it is so supply intensive, and you see that supply dropping so quickly as soon as Ravagers are starting to fall, and now it's just Ravager. Ooh. I feel like that was a blink forward moment as, oh, look at this! Roach counterattack into the base. I was wondering why Reynor had so little, and this is why, as the Zealots are actually being kept out of their own base. Look at that morph! Oh, Reynor! That is so, beautiful. As it's finally going to be canceled. But at the same time, Ling's going to go into the third as the whole army is brought back. Uh-oh, Neeb's trying to take a lot of damage here as the shield battery overcharge is going to pop, but it's going to go down very, very quickly. Finally going to be knocked down. Some beautiful blinks here by Neeb. He's not going to be able to avoid those corrosive biles, though, but most of the Lings are gone. And as soon as the Lings are gone, that opens up the roaches to the +1/+1 stalkers. But I don't know. Reynor just has so much. Finally, the rest of the army is going to be brought over. The blink forward comes through. Ravagers are going to start to get sniped here. Yeah, Neeb just has enough. He's going to keep blinking forward. He knows he has charge lots. He has blink stalkers. He can continue to force these trades. As the 4th base does survive, and Neeb, I think, loses minimal workers there. Only 10 probes go down is extremely good. Fifth base coming up now for Neeb. He's going to be looking to push again. He has +2/+2, almost done. And once he gets that, that's going to be a 3 upgrade advantage. Neeb just needs to wait for his upgrades. And honestly, these Stalkers are going to start to trade so well. Yeah, here we go. Upgrades are done. And Neeb, what? Neeb, please. Neeb. Okay, there's a Roach counterattack. Neeb does need to deal with that as Tunneling Claws has been finished up now suddenly. And Observer is started as Neeb realizes that Neeb doesn't want to fight this straight up, but he has the upgrade advantage. But he has to go back to try and defend it. Now he's going to try and take the fight. And you just look how fast these Stalkers are melting through those Roaches as the Blinkbacks come through. A lot of those Corrosive Biles are still hitting. But look at the Tunneling Claw Roaches in the main and the natural. 14 probes going down at the front. I mean, Neeb is starting to collapse in on this army and find damage, but it just is not enough. The Roaches are fighting back so well. And if this was the whole army, this would be so good for Neeb, but it's not. He's the whole army just getting so much more value. 18 probes have fallen. Absolutely insane amounts of damage here from the Tunneling Claw Roaches. Finally, Neeb is going to start to clean up the Roaches at the front, but more and more reinforcements are coming through. The Stalkers are all extremely low health. Even with the +2/+2, they're not able to trade out against the sheer numbers that Reynor has available to him. And these Roaches survived. They're still here. Oh my. Reynor is just so good, man. He's just so good. Neeb is fighting tooth and nail right now as the Blink 4 is going to come through. Stalkers are getting focus fired. Corrosive Bile is going to come down. All the Zealots get cleaned up. Neeb, you just have to be so careful with these trades. Even with the upgrade advantage, it just does not feel like there's enough. There's so many units available for Reynor. And they just keep streaming across the map as 5 more probes have gone down. More and more Roaches are joining in. Ravagers are falling, but Neeb is losing so much in return. As this Zealot run by, he's going to try and snipe down the 5th base. And yeah, there we go. Focusing down the 5th is also going to snipe a few drones as well as the Roaches do respond. Finally, these Tunneling Claw Roaches are going to get cleaned up as the 5th looks like it is going to be killed. If Neeb, click on it! Neeb, click on the hatchery! Neeb! Same time, though, he's pulling Stalkers into the 4th. As has to blink back, the Roaches are brought to respond. The Roaches are mostly cleaned up. The hatchery's still going to go down. As finally the Roaches are cleaned up back at home. But Neeb has lost so many workers. 40 probes in total going down. And it is an absolute bloodbath that Reynor has come out on top of. Neeb not quite in position to deal with those Roaches. Zealot run by, though, into this mineral line is going to start to find a bit of damage. As Reynor not quite feeling comfortable to push this. So I, again, really wish there was music, but hey, that's just the kind of how we're rolling with these replays. As the supplies are starting to even out, Neeb, as more and more Warpins come through, is going to be catching up slowly but surely. And again, the upgrade advantage, 2 upgrades up now, is once again going to be 3 as this +3 finishes. As a few Roaches caught a little bit far forward, the Corrosive Bile is actually finding a ton of value there. Onto the Stalkers. Neeb is still trying to force this trade, but you just don't want to go into that choke point. Just go to the other ramp. The other ramp is all just as nice, I promise. Zealots are going to get cleaned up. 2 more on the other side of the map looking to go in, but I mean, Reynor has not been able to establish a 5th, and I think with everything that has happened, you know, with Neeb taking some inefficient trades, with Reynor finding some great value with his counterattacks and run-bys, the fact that Neeb has been able to keep Reynor off of a 5th base is the biggest story right now in keeping Neeb in this game. Is the fact that Reynor is really working on a 4-base economy. As once again, the Corrosive Biles are just going to find so much value. Neeb is not able to dodge them. He's just taking the straight-up fight, and honestly, he's going to win the straight-up fight. So he does eventually blink back, and those are the kind of trades that Neeb needs. As his 4th base is up and mining now. And Neeb starting to find his way back to this game, but the Lurker Den is on the way, and Lurkers from ahead. Great blink to dodge that fungal growth. Neeb has to be so careful here. With the fungals available, 1 catches all the Stalkers. Only 2 of them going down so far. Neeb doesn't have blink available right now, and his Stalkers are starting to thin out because he has a whole additional army on the right side of the map that's going to try and take this engagement as the Zealots dive in. The Stalkers are going to be able to fight. They're going to be able to blink forward. And on the other side, Neeb's Stalkers are also winning. As Neeb winning on two fronts here as the army was caught in transition. But now there are lurkers. Neeb needs to blink back. Is going to be able to get out. Now looking for the snipe on the hatchery. Maybe no. Just looking to snipe down some of the lurkers. Gets two of them. Blinks away. The supplies are evened out. Neeb, how are you doing this? As a fifth Nexus on the way. Again, Neeb needs to be careful though. Needs to be so careful. If he can keep Reynor off of his fifth while establishing his own and not losing his army, Neeb is going to be so far ahead in this game. But if he loses these Stalkers, then that is it. That is game over for Neeb. I don't like this. Fighting at the edge of the spines. Current creep is very good here for the Protoss as disruptors are in production. Two of them already out on the map. Two more being added on. Neeb setting up a run by there to head into the fourth base, or the third as he looks to pressure the fourth. Blinks forward, snipes off a lurker, snipes off another, snipes off a third, but he's just going to lose absolutely everything for it. Neeb, you can't commit in on the other side. Neeb, no, this is not what you need to do right now. It's not a very good trade at all. Disruptor shots are going to find so much value though. Splatters Zerg blood on the ground. Two more disruptors available. One more shot going to go out. Can't catch the Lynx quite. Very nice splits there from Reynor. But the fifth base is up. Neeb now just needs to buy time for this fifth as Adrenal Glands, Tunneling Adaptive Talons on the way. Mind you, it's still a big upgrade advantage though for Neeb at the current moment. But once Vipers are out, those disruptors get a whole lot harder to use as the cannon is getting focused down. The server is going to be brought over, but the Zealots just don't fight altogether that well as disruptor shots going on out. Going to be able to zone back a lot of this army. Where's the vision? Is there an observer? There's no observer. Neeb can't fight that army. At the same time, he's losing his fifth base. And all it takes is just one misstep here. And suddenly Reynor has a supply lead back. Neeb's trying to push this. Disruptor shots need to be perfect here. Disruptor, are the Novas ready? Yes, they are. They're going to be able to snipe off. No, they don't get the lurkers. There's no vision still. Neeb just has to back up. Finally gets them. And Reynor working with such a small economy right now. 83 workers. I mean, on 5 bases, I guess. He did actually take the pocket base, so he wasn't just on 4 bases. With that pocket expansion taken a lot later in this game than Neeb's, has so much mining from it, still almost full on minerals on some of these patches. And that's what's been keeping Reynor alive right now. It's what's been allowing him to remax and rebuild. As a real 5th base now is going to be finishing up. Completely forgot about the pocket expansions in that math about how many bases each player had. As the certainly run by is actually pretty dangerous. Those have adrenal glands. Neeb is gonna have to retreat back to a cannon, but even then, I don't know if you win this fight. They just do so much damage. Reynor is gonna run away as disruption novas, but they're just canceled. One does connect, but I don't know if it's gonna matter. The novas are good, but there's so many lurkers. 12 already available here for Reynor. You need perfect novas. And there are Vipers out that are going to be able to cancel them with the abductions. As Neeb, he has fought tooth and nail in this game, but it is just not going to be enough. Disruption Nova's going out. All of them are going to be canceled. And that is it. Reynor is going to collapse. GG, we're going to game 5. And it all comes down to this. One more game. Neeb has tried to switch it up 2 times in a row. It hasn't worked. The charge first failed. The Glaive to Depths failed, although Neeb did manage to bring it back and put up a convincing fight. It was... It was not pretty. It was not pretty at the beginning. And props to Neebs for being able to make it so close there towards the end with some really amazing play, but it was not enough, and Reynor held on. Saved that pocket expansion for a situation just like that. And now do we go back to Old Faithful? Do we go back to the Blink Stalkers? I mean, I think so. I think you have to go back to Blink first. I think Neeb has shown that he is just so much better with that initial timing attack than anything else. And obviously it has worked against Reynor much better than everything else, is the Blink Stalkers. Even after the Glaive Adepts failed, the Blink Stalkers were able to help bring it back. There were some great trades by Neeb. Of course, they weren't perfect, and I think Neeb's micro, while it has been very good, has also not been perfect. He's been absorbing a lot of corrosive biles and just taking a lot of extra damage from those kinds of abilities with some miscuing, but overall it has just looked so much better for him. And obviously you have the added support of the oracles, which Neeb has been very good with. We'll see. We will see. Gonna be Stalker first here for Neeb, and Reynor should know the timing here to move away this Overlord as soon as that Stalker is about to come out. But the second base was forced onto this third base location on inside and out. It's really not the worst thing. It's a bit annoying for the other player to actually attack this base from anywhere other than the main ramp, than this main kind of trifecta of ramps, because in order to do that you do have to go all the way around, and then you'll be able to attack it. As Reynor has moved back the Overlord, it is going to be safe, and it's going to be a Stargate from Neeb, so we are going back to what he has done in the past. I'm very, very happy to see. This metabolic boost on the way, and everything just looking kind of normal in this game, you know? Nothing too crazy. Obviously, Reynor probably feeling it right now. Probably got that rap going, got that Italian rap. You know, nodding, you know, kind of getting his head going. And Neeb. Oracle first, no Phoenix to help clear up the Overlords. Of course, you can still go Phoenix second. Is really fine. You'll still be able to clean up that Overlord that is across the map. But again, you just get a singular Overlord. You know, most Zergs, most every Zerg doesn't actually send more than one Overlord across the map anymore. The others are kept a little bit ahead of the creep, but that is about it until the creep. Once the creep spread gets past these Overlords, they are just moved back. They're not kept out on the map, because if you snipe them and the Zerg gets supply blocked, that's just a whole other world of trouble. As the first Oracle is out, it's going to go across the map immediately into two Oracles, and yeah. Neeb returning to basics here with this build order. Extremely fast third Nexus as well. As nice catch here onto the Adapts. Yeah, should be able to get both. Second Oracle is going to have to come in to help stop that base from going down, as three workers actually fall to the Oracle across the map. Catches them as they are popping out at the third base here in the natural location. He's going to push back the Zerglings. So far, a good start here with these Oracles. Third Oracle on the way, and we should see that Twilight Council and Robotics Facility placed down very, very shortly here for Neeb, who's going to be looking to get into his usual +1 Blink Stalker. As once again, Adept's getting caught out, and Neeb just being a little bit careless there with those units. Sorry. Yeah, Twilight Council and Forge, not Robotics Facility. Are going down now. Should be the +1 in Blink. I think that's just the safest bet right now for Neeb in this game 5, is to go for that option, to go for that timing attack. Just two more gateways. Going to offer a little bit of a block here. I imagine something like a shield battery or a cannon will be added in this gap that is only about two squares wide. So you're not going to be able to fit another gateway in, as three Oracles flying through. Find the three Queens in the main. Natural is more open, and they're just going to focus down that one Queen as the Oracle gets away. Transfuse comes down. Oh, it's not. No, Neeb. Oh, that hurts. I mean, that's a lot of energy expended to not get that Queen as the Transfuses come in just in time. +1 Blink Stalker is going to be into Roaches. This is what we saw in the latter half of the last game. Now going to be our initial option for Neeb, as Oracle's continuing to just be on the map, get presence, get vision, and there we go. 6 minute, 4th Nexus. Neeb is just playing this as straight up as it gets. There's no 3-base attack. It is just stock standard macro from Neeb and Reynor. Glial Reconstitution, +1 melee on the way. It's going to be Roach, Ling, Bane. A very DRG-esque composition. I mean, that's the composition that we saw DRG really stomp with when he first came back from his military service, was just Roach, Ling, Bane, Ravager, and completely rolling over his opponents. Let's see if Reynor can do just that, as this Ling run by is going to look to try and... I mean, yeah, the third is actually wide open here. There is just the shield battery. Warpin can come in to help defend a little bit. And yeah, shield battery overcharge will be popped. That should be all that Neeb needs to deal with it. He's going to keep pushing this on to the front. Blink +1 are done. Second Forge is on the way, of course, to help continue with those upgrades once they are finished. The robotics facility not here, so of course you're just using these revelations to clear up creep, as there are no observers. He's of course one of the reasons why Neeb is able to delay that robotics facility for so long is because of that revelation. As the Stalker is pressing the front here, you should just get out though as Neeb. No real way that you fight this convincingly. A bit messy as Zerglings! They get the fourth! That's massive! As they are eventually cleaned up, but Reynor there sniping off the fourth base. Oh my. Is not at all good for Neeb. He needs to now replant it. That was a finished Nexus, wasn't even canceled. Neeb pressing forward, snipes off the creep tumor, is then gonna get away. As the Stalkers and Ling pass, ships in the night, they scrape hulls, and then eventually Neeb realizes, wait a second, wait a minute. As Neeb continued to try and press the front here, +2 melee attacks on the way. Centrifugal Hooks is about to finish up, so the Banelings are going to have a lot more value in this game. Good spotting here by Neeb, is going to be able to snipe them off. At the front, the trades, Queen's getting focused down. Stalkers are going to blink back as, oh, look at this surround. Reynor going to try and get rid of all the Blink Stalkers that he can in massive corrosive biles. And that is the kind of trade that you want if you are Reynor, as +2/+1 has been started up for Neeb alongside charge, but this fourth being delayed, this fourth being killed, oh, that was so big. I can't believe that Reynor was able to do that. Just found the opening with the Lings, goes in, snipes off the base, is now once again trying to press the front, but there's just not a lot of units left here for Neeb. He's going to bring in the Oracles, and they will help quite a bit. More and more Stalkers are joining in, but look at this by Reynor. He just has such a massive lead at this point because he's been able to mine so much more than his opponent that he can afford to do this. He's just going to go straight for the third. Oh my, I mean, Neeb, you're not ready for this. There's no way. And at the front, a surround is being set up. Oh, Reynor. Blink back is going to dodge out of the way. Probes are pulled, but we're still going to see 12 of them go down as those Banelings are going straight for the fourth base now, where there's so much more, as Neeb is still fighting at the front, but he's fighting a losing fight, as Stalkers have, I believe, been recalled or warped in. 11 probes going down at the front. Neeb is actually fighting this. Neeb is actually winning this fight. No transfusions means that he's able to blink forward now. Has to dodge out of the corrosive biles. But still, the supply is just devastating. 156 to 129. Zealots being warped on in here. They do have charge, and they're going to have +2 very, very shortly. But the units are already in here to defend. Neeb not going to be able to cancel that fifth base here of Reynor's. Oh, Banelings going in again. Good blocking there with the Blink Stalkers. More Zealots going to be warped in. Stalkers being brought in again to help support with pushing down this fifth base, as this Warp Prism is just trying to be as annoying as possible. So many Warpins every single place that Neeb can. He's just trying his hardest here to keep this aggression going, because he knows that even though he has the space, I mean, it's just so late that you really can't macro out of this position as Neeb would want to, as more Zealots coming in. They only get 2 drones though. They're just a distraction, but they're not a distraction enough, because Neeb is still losing the fight at the front as the Baneling gets a good connection. And Neeb is down 50 supply. He has fought back from this position before, but it is just so rough right now for the onside Protoss, as the Oracles are coming through. But look at this, another surround, more and more Roaches coming in. The blink to get away, and it just feels like Reynor has enough. It feels like Reynor has held on, and he's been able to make all the right moves to slow down the Protoss to the point that Neeb cannot really macro back into this game comfortably. He needs to keep on the pressure with the Blink Stalkers, but that's also not working. And now as you're taking this straight up fight, well, it's just not looking very good at all, as the Oracles are out of energy. Reynor is now pushing the front. 20 probes go down. GG. Reynor is going to win with the reverse sweep.